I'd like to share a reading of 2 Samuel 9. And this reading is an example of God's favor towards those who are disabled. And there are other examples, like in the New Testament when Jesus heals the blind, and when he heals the lame, which is a very famous miracle performed where he tells the man to pick up his mat and walk. But there is also an example in the Old Testament, which occurred first in history, of God showing his favor towards the disabled. So if you are disabled, or if you know somebody who is disabled and they feel discouraged, please share this video with them to bring them encouragement through our great Lord. This is 2 Samuel 9. David asked, "Is there anyone still left of the house of Saul to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake?" Now there was a servant of Saul's household named Ziba. They summoned him to appear before David, and the king said to him, "Are you Ziba?" "At your service," he replied. The king asked, "Is there no one still alive from the house of Saul to whom I can show God's kindness?" Ziba answered the king, "There is still a son of Jonathan. He is lame in both feet." "Where is he?" the king asked. Ziba answered, "He is at the house of Machir, son of Amiel, in Lo-debar." So King David had him brought from Lo-debar, from the house of Machir, son of Amiel. When Mephibosheth, son of Jonathan, the son of Saul, came to David, he bowed down to pay him honor. David said, "Mephibosheth." "At your service," he replied. "Don't be afraid," David said to him, "for I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will always eat at my table." Mephibosheth bowed down and said, "What is your servant that you should notice a dead dog like me?" Then the king summoned Ziba, Saul's steward, and said to him, "I have given your master's grandson everything that belonged to Saul and his family. You and your sons and your servants are to farm the land for him and bring in the crops, so that your master's grandson may be provided for. And Mephibosheth, grandson of your master, will always eat at my table." Now Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then Ziba said to the king, "Your servant will do whatever my lord the king commands his servant to do." So Mephibosheth ate at David's table like one of the king's sons. Mephibosheth had a son named Micah, and all the members of Ziba's household were servants of Mephibosheth. And Mephibosheth lived in Jerusalem because he always ate at the king's table. He was lame in both feet. Now, not only is this God showing favor to Jonathan through King David, and Jonathan was King Saul's son, and Jonathan had a son named Mephibosheth who was lame in both feet. And I don't believe that this is a coincidence that he was the only one left for David to show favor to for God to show favor to through King David at the time. I believe nothing is coincidental ever, and this was purposely done to show another example of God's enduring love and kindness and mercy, and especially for those who are disabled. Because some may argue, "Oh, why am I disabled? Maybe God doesn't favor me, or I did something wrong, or this is a result of some past sin, or generational curse." But we see here that God can show favor and does find favor in those who are disabled among us. So treat everybody with love and respect because God dwells within you and he loves you. And continue to read the word. I highly encourage you to read 2 Samuel if you haven't, because it's a fantastic book, as is much of the Old Testament, as is much of this holy word that God has given us. Miraculously, it still exists to this day, despite all that has happened throughout history. So I encourage you to read, to get into the word, and to pray to God.